Hello, I'm Paul Meyer, the retired executive director of the Morris Arboretum of the University of Pennsylvania. Before I was director, I served for 15 years as curator of the living collections at the Morris Arboretum. I'm delighted to be with you today to share my thoughts. I first visited Korea in 1979 as a guest of Carl Ferris Miller, founder of Charlie Po Arboretum. We have a long history of collaboration with Charlie Po and other botanical institutions in Korea, China, and many other countries. I have visited Korea most recently in 2019 and have been very impressed with the growth and development of botanic gardens and arboreta in Korea. Plant exploration and collection is fun and exciting, but it's only one step in building a science-based botanical collection. Curation requires ongoing attention that is sometimes difficult and tedious, but essential to building the value of a plant collection. Though COVID may have hampered field collections, especially international collections, perhaps it has given curators an opportunity to enhance plant collections in other ways. In some cases, the pause brought on by COVID has given garden leaders an opportunity to review collection policies. What has been and what will be the focus of your institution? What plant groups will be given priority? What geographic areas will be focused on? Will the plants be wild collected or cultivated plants? Will the collections be encyclopedic or feature the very best selection? Even institutions with long-standing policies can use this time to revisit, reconfirm, and make necessary changes in plant collection goals. Within the collection policy, curators can now look at existing conditions, existing collections, and identify gaps. What additional plants would be most useful? Likely collaborators can be identified and partnerships built. The pandemic times are also an opportunity to look closely at the curation and documentation of existing collections. Are the records and maps in good order? And what is needed to bring them up to date? Much of this work can be done safely out of doors or remotely on a computer. This is a good time to call the collection, removing poorly documented plants or plants that are no longer a priority within the policy. This can create space in the garden for new additions. Of course, plants are living things and subject to insects, diseases, storms, and ultimately death. Important priority collections, especially conservation collections, can be identified for propagation, to add back into the collection, and to share replicate accessions with collaborating institutions, both domestically and abroad. With the pandemic, many more people are spending time exploring plant collections digitally online. The pandemic has heightened the importance of sharing plant collection information online with the interested public as well as professional colleagues. This trend is likely to continue into the post-pandemic era. Thus, it is more important than ever to evaluate and build the internet presence of our plant collections. Throughout the pandemic, travel and in-person meetings have become more difficult, if not impossible. but the rise in electronic communications has made staying in touch easier than ever. Zoom meetings and social media working groups have made it possible for curators to collaborate even without in-person meeting. And of course, my meeting with you today remotely is a good example of that. An important part of plant curation is communicating the value of plant collection to garden visitors. Throughout the pandemic, work can continue to create exhibits that help visitors understand plant conservation and the importance of plant biodiversity to human survival. International plant exploration is an important part of the mission of many botanic gardens and arboretum. The pandemic has made international travel difficult or impossible. This pause in international activity provides an opportunity to focus on domestic plant collections, plants native to Korea. For example, one priority might be given to plants that are little known or underused in landscape plantings, or conservation of rare and endangered species might be targeted. I hope we will be soon entering the post-pandemic era. What have we learned during the pandemic? Certainly, we can continue to use electronic tools that have advanced communication and collaboration among distant curators. But also, now is the time to strengthen collaboration among institutions and establish national plant collection goals. Curators with common interests can establish partnerships to help advance these goals. Now is the time to plan for the post-pandemic era. With collection priorities in mind, build and enhance collaboration among institutions with common goals. Planning includes research and determining what you want to collect, where do you want to collect, and with whom will you collaborate. Also, work can begin on researching necessary permits, logistics, and budget. With good planning in place, you can move forward quickly when it is once again safe to travel. Now is the time to advance a Korean national network of plant collections. No one garden can collect and curate everything. So it is important to divide responsibilities among gardens and curators. Working groups of curators can be established to focus on particular taxa, building collections, and replicating key accessions in sensible ways. The American Public Garden Association coordinates the United States Plant Collection Network. The website is a good source of information and many ideas related to the establishment and building a national collections program. Thank you very much.